Hello everybody and welcome to the video 42 here. It's a bit of an anomaly for me because normally I just do the live streams every Saturday night at 10:30. However, I'm going to try to put out some standalone content that should be interesting and relevant, hopefully. So bear with me and go easy on me because it's the first time doing this type of thing in a very long while. Okay, now to the format. Obviously I'm recording this on voice because, as you will see, there's no possible way that I could have recited this or given this while I'm doing the cycle up the road. All will become clear soon, but anyway, you've got the vocals that I have written, and you have the visuals of a nice little trip up the Woodstock Road on the Craigie Road, which is one of the arterial roads in East Belfast. As you can see from this mural in front of me, you've got the Woodstock Road that runs under the Craigie Road, which ends up in the Glen, and all of that is indeed uphill. So, I'll stop putting it off. I'm going to start pedaling and get some exercise in and talk to you about Movember. Let's do this. I first became aware of Movember in 2012. At that point, I was fresh from finding out in intimate detail the gender differences in support provided to victims of domestic abuse. That came with a side order of inequality in divorce law and the realisation that financial abuse continued after separation, facilitated by the banks, the legal profession and the government. I had never expected the process to be fair and clean. However, I had never expected discrimination against men to be baked into the legal system. Then Movember came around and it became clear that boys lack the legal medical protection afforded to girls, and the discrimination begins at birth. This was indeed quite the revelation, and while from day one I understood the importance of the promotion of men's health, I never did get how it applied to me personally. Yes, obviously every year I promote Movember. I talk about the actual facts. Men die younger than women for many reasons. Men work longer hours outside, doing physically demanding jobs than at first weather. That takes its toll. Work inside in a nice warm factory, where the air carries dust, chemicals and everything else that messes up your lungs. Plus, you get the added joy of trying to keep your fingers out of the widget maker. Given this context, it becomes very easy to understand why men have become disposable. It's necessary for their function. And then you need to consider that the term man flu was invented to stop men complaining when they feel ill. It becomes obvious that a focus on men's health is required. However, I never could think about what I should do for Movember for me. Yes, on many occasions I let my facial hair grow wild to show the changing face of men's health. I got Belfast City Hall to turn blue a few years in a row before they changed the whole lighting policy of the City Hall to exclude International Men's Day. But personal improvements for myself have been lacking. The object of improving my health seemed like some vague concept that would be extremely complicated. In short, I did not even know where to start, so I did nothing. I believe that stemmed from the lack of organisation in my life. I had always seemed to be just ahead of a disaster and worrying about my future. This in turn stemmed from the crutch of taking one day at a time. Moving to thinking one pay cycle at a time has alleviated these problems, and my new improved circumstances have caused me to rethink Movember. I believe for every man it needs to begin with revisiting Maslow's hierarchy of needs and giving very careful thought to your bottom line. And by bottom line, I do not mean your pay packet or your salary. I mean oxygen, water, food, clothing, shelter. How is that going for you? It seems to me any improvement in health cannot be considered without first honestly evaluating the environment you are living in. So open that bank statement, have a look around your domicile and ask yourself, is this working for me and is it sustainable? The worst that can happen is you find out things are going well and you can crack on with the personal development. However, for men that have escaped abuse or other past trauma, to whom living in survival mode has become a way of life, this assessment is fundamental to any improvement. It was thinking a pay cycle at a time as opposed to a day at a time that kicked me out of survival mode a mere 12 years after escaping abuse. With that finally being in order, I am thinking about Movember differently this year. Hear me out, but I'm seeing it as an excuse, but a good one. An excuse to get back into good habits. Making changes for life seems a bit daunting. However, giving something a go for Movember is a lot less complicated. Drink more water at work. Take a little exercise every day. You can do that for a month, right? I'm using Movember as an excuse to write this blog and hopefully get back into writing regular again. No need to explain the gaps. It's just 42 talking about Movember, right? It's an excuse to make this video. And an excuse, and the video is an excuse to get out of my bag, and it's a way for me to suddenly start making standalone videos, which I haven't normally done. It's also an excuse to put some content on the original 42 channel, which was started, I don't know, 12 years ago or something like that, and hasn't had any new content in about 11 years. So it's an excuse to do that, and if things work out, they work out, and if they don't, well, I give it a go for Movember. Oh, also note, if you do one more pull-up than yesterday, every day, you will be at 30 by the end of the month. Also know, you can stop and take a few minutes rest during those pull-ups. I'm currently at 7, but I'll do 5, then 2. Hopefully we'll get the 10s and 3 10s or something similar to that, but it doesn't really matter. It's not an endurance test, it's a bit of personal improvement for yourself, so give it a go. I'm seeing Movember as a trial, not a challenge, as in you get to give new, better behaviours a trial go. If they don't work out for you, just drop them at the end of the month. It's not a failure, and at least you now know something that works or does not work. Better still, if some perceived improvement is not fitting in with your life after a few days, and it's obvious it's not going to continue past the end of the month, drop it there and then. But think of a different positive behaviour you could give a try, because you've still got 3 weeks left. You've got a whole month to experiment, enjoy it, and crack on with it. Oh, one last thing. The only person that can define your improvement is yourself. The system is already rigged against you, so be an honest judge for yourself. And with that, I'll give you the data of how far my cycle went and all the numbers that are involved with that. But the goal is not to go further and faster every time I go out on this bicycle. The goal is to enjoy it. So here's the numbers anyway. Okay, let's have a look at our totals. For our little Movember ride, we have been on the bicycle for 27 minutes 32 seconds. We travelled 4 miles, 4.28 miles, almost 5 miles. That's the total on this speedometer. We averaged 9.3, which is pretty good given that half of it was fucking uphill. And our maximum speed was 17 miles an hour. And I will catch us all in the next video. I think I need to lie down now. Catch us later. All the best. 42 signing out. Over.